So I'm Jean-Philippe Breton. I work for a company called Alphamosaik, which is based in Montreal, Quebec, in Canada. Alphamosaik is a Microsoft Gold partner, and we're focusing on pretty much every Microsoft products, which is Active Directory, Exchange, System Center products, Forefront, OCS, so Office Communication Server, and everything that revolves around desktop deployment and server deployment.
So you're currently working on a large Vista deployment here in Canada. Can you tell us a little bit about how many PCs, why they decided to go to Vista, what are some of the tools you're using to do the deployment?
Exactly. So we're I'm surely working on, me and my team, on a major project here in Montreal. It's a Canadian transportation company. The project started out 8 months ago. The client has around 12,000 PCs around Canada and in the United States. The project started out with a proof of concept between Microsoft solutions that includes System Center, Configuration Manager, Operation Manager, and Business Desktop Deployment, and Vista, and against IBM solution, actually. So Tivoli's IBM solution with Tivoli. The goal was pretty much to focus on Vista deployment with either one of the solutions. The client migrated to XP 5 years ago, and they started to have some issues with installing new PCs. For example, they started to have issues with hard drive controllers, which now needs new SATA drivers. By showing them the solution, either with CCM and with Tivoli's, the client decided to go with a Microsoft solution.
So in the proof of concept, you mentioned the use of the System Center tools like Configuration Manager and Operations Manager. How much of an impact did that have in the adoption of Vista?
It had a huge impact. The client needed to have, actually, they already had a really automated process of deploying XP on their station. So they need to keep that automated process and push it a little bit more for deploying Windows Vista. And that's why Configuration Manager 2007 really helped the client, having a zero-touch installation of the operating system on the client desktop. Again, with all the tools that are built in within Config Manager, like USMT, User State Migration tool. So with that tool, they were able to put the OS on the desktop, capture the setting before the desktop was migrated, and put back those settings back on the desktop. All that in a really automated process, with actually in a zero-touch installation process.
So one of the things you mentioned was ease of deployment, and you also talked about how you've been using BDD since version 1.0. So how have the tools evolved? How has that made things easier for you as a deployment specialist?
Yeah, it started out with a BDD 1.0, which was pretty light, but again, it was a good step toward having a standardized way of deploying desktop. And I think it's just a matter of putting hard work into that product. Again, it's a free product from Microsoft, so I'm just amazed that, for being a free product, that there's so much effort that's being put into that product. And now with the latest version of 2008, MDT 2008, it's just really beautiful software and really easy to use.
So what's your favorite feature about that tool?
I would say the task sequence, which is really powerful. So it's pretty much easier to jam your script, and at every client, it's different from every client. Every client has a little something that needed to add into the process. So it's really easy to put your own script, VBS or CMD, within the task sequence. So I would say the task sequence is really the most nice feature.
So now, as easy as deployment has gotten, there still has to be roadblocks, challenges that come up as you sort of do a deployment of this size. And what are some of the challenges that you faced?
Again, as in every deployment, I guess the major challenge is application compatibility, so ACCompat. Beside that, there's always users. Users doesn't like having new desktops. They don't really see the value of having Windows Vista on their PC. And I would say drivers. A lot of customers, big customers, are using different brand of different models of desktops and laptops. But again, with the evolution of desktop deployment tools, it's really easier now to integrate all those drivers and within one database.
What are some of the ways that you've sort of alleviated some of those challenges around app compat?
One software that we use on every deployment is the application compatibility tool. So ACT with the latest version 5.0, which actually gives us a really nice reports on the inventory of software on the client side, and with it, we have really rich information about applications and their compatibility on with Vista. So I would say ACT 5.0 is a really nice feature and free again.
So with a lot of the deployments that you've done now, what are some of the things that you've learned? What are some of the best practices that you've learned as you've sort of done a number of deployments and even one this size?
It's really hard for a client that doesn't know Windows Vista, for example, to what to have within their image. Am I going to go with business, enterprise? Am I going to enable BitLocker? So again, I guess that's pretty much important to go forward with that and just have a clean conversation with the client, and with our experience, it's easy for us to give them advice on whether or not to go with a feature or to enable it or not.
Have you found that SP1 has addressed some of the challenges, some of the issues that you've had in the past with the RTM version?
Yeah, I did. Actually, it solves a lot of drivers issues, stability issues, performance issues. So yeah, with SP1 we did see a lot of improvement with Vista.
What would you improve in Vista?
Aha. Actually, pretty much. I personally think it takes a lot of resource. Now, a lot of clients, a lot of Vista deployment we're actually disabling the Aero interface, the Aero glass interface, which consumes a lot of RAM. So I would say, if I had something to improve, is really the amount of resource that Windows Vista is using.
So, on the opposite of that, what's your favorite feature of Vista?
I would say the deployment. Deploying Vista is it's so easy now with the new WIM format image. So basically, if you look on your DVD of Vista, it's really one file, one big image. So deploying Vista for the IT, from the IT perspective, there's really a lot of benefit and a lot of cost that you can save by going to Vista just for the deployment of the operating system. So
if somebody were to come to you and ask you, why should I install Vista? What would be your reason for installing Vista? Why did you install it on your personal computer?
Well, I'm a tech guy, so I needed to have Vista. And since we're the main quality of Alphamosaik is to really be the first one of touching that technology. So I mean, internally at Alphamosaik, we've migrated everyone to Vista last year. I personally have been using Vista since beta 1. So for us, for the company, so Alphamosaik is really important to be the first partners to have been in touch with that technology. And now again with the release of Service Pack 1, I think it's really a nice operating system, really stable, really secure.
Well, thanks very much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you very much.